I found Victor Wembanyama's first 20 made shots in the NBA. When greatness enters the league, sometimes you can feel it immediately. Victor Wembanyama's very first 20 made shots weren't just baskets, they were a declaration. A 7-foot, 4-inch teenager from France moving like a guard, blocking shots like a center, scoring from anywhere on the court. This wasn't just a rookie finding his way, this was the arrival of something the NBA had never seen before. Victor Wembanyama was born January 4th, 2004, in Le Chesnay, France, just outside of Paris. Basketball was in his blood from day one. His mother, Elodie de Fautereau, was a former professional basketball player and coach. His father, Félix Wembanyama, was a track and field athlete who later coached basketball. Even his siblings played. His older sister, Eve, competed professionally. The Wembanyama household wasn't just athletic, it was basketball obsessed. But even in a family of hoopers, Victor was different. By age 10, Victor was already over 6 feet tall. Most kids that height would be clumsy, awkward, still growing into their bodies. Not Victor. He moved with coordination that seemed impossible for his size. Coaches watched in disbelief as this giant child dribbled between his legs, hit step-back jumpers, and blocked shots with timing that looked effortless. He wasn't just tall, he was skilled in ways that defied every basketball stereotype. At 12 years old, Victor joined Nanterre 92, one of France's top professional clubs. While most preteens were just learning the fundamentals, Victor was training alongside grown men in one of Europe's most competitive environments. The adjustment was intense, but he thrived under pressure. Coaches didn't just see a tall kid with potential, they saw someone who could revolutionize the game. By 15, Victor Wembanyama was already playing professionally in France's top league. A year later, he was no longer just a prodigy, he was a phenomenon. Scouts from around the world began making the trip to France, notebooks in hand, trying to understand what they were witnessing. A teenager, 7'2", draining three-pointers from 30 feet, handling the ball in transition like a point guard, and blocking shots with a wingspan that seemed to cover the entire court. The comparison started immediately. He's like Kevin Durant. No, he's like Giannis. He's more skilled than Rudy Gobert. But the truth was simpler and more unsettling. Victor Wembanyama wasn't like anyone. He was an entirely new category of player, a 7-footer with guard skills, elite shot blocking, and basketball IQ that belonged to a 10-year veteran. In 2021, playing for ASVEL in the French League, Wembanyama put up numbers that seemed fictional for someone his age. Then came 2022 when he joined Metropolitan's 92 and began his historic season. He averaged 21.6 points, 10.4 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game in one of Europe's toughest leagues, all before turning 19. By the time the 2023 NBA draft approached, Victor wasn't just a prospect, he was the prospect. NBA executives, Hall of Famers, and analysts all said the same thing: generational talent. The best prospect since LeBron James, a player who could change a franchise overnight. The hype was suffocating, but Victor stayed calm, focused, humble. He knew what was coming. June 22nd, 2023, Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. The NBA draft was underway, but there was no mystery about the first pick. The San Antonio Spurs had won the draft lottery, and with it, the right to select Victor Wembanyama, the most hyped prospect in over 2 decades.
With the first pick in the 2023 NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Victor Wembanyama from Nanterre, France.
When NBA Commissioner Adam Silver stepped to the microphone and announced Victor Wembanyama as the first pick, the basketball world erupted. Cameras flashed, analysts gushed, social media exploded. This wasn't just any #1 pick. This was a moment the league had been anticipating for years. For San Antonio, it felt like destiny. The Spurs, a franchise built on international superstars like Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker, and of course the legendary Tim Duncan, now had the next generational talent. Greg Popovich, one of the greatest coaches in NBA history, would have the chance to mold Victor into a superstar. The pressure was immense. Wembanyama was joining a franchise with 5 championship banners and a legacy of excellence. Expectations weren't just high, they were stratospheric. Every analyst, every fan, every critic would be watching his every move. Reactions poured in immediately. LeBron James called him an alien. Kevin Durant said he'd never seen anything like him. Analysts declared him a future MVP. The consensus was universal. Victor Wembanyama wasn't just going to be good, he was going to redefine what a basketball player could be.
What do I think of him? I think probably the same as everybody else thinks. Everybody, label him like this unicorn thing. Everybody's been a unicorn over the last few years. He's more like an alien.
But hype means nothing without execution. Could this 19-year-old from France handle the weight of the world on his shoulders? Could he live up to the impossible comparisons? Soon, the world would find out. Game 1 versus Dallas Mavericks, October 25th, 2023, San Antonio, Texas. The Spurs opened their season at home against the Dallas Mavericks. For Spurs fans, the opponent didn't matter. All eyes were on the 7-foot, 4-inch rookie taking the court for his first official NBA game. From the opening tip, it was clear. Victor Wembanyama was not intimidated. On his very first NBA possession, he didn't ease into the game with a simple pass or a safe play. He rose up and hit a 3-point jumper over a defender. His first NBA points came within a couple of minutes and the crowd exploded. But that was just the beginning. Moments later, Victor grabbed a defensive rebound, pushed the ball up the court himself. The 7-foot, 4-inch center was handling the ball like a guard, moving with fluidity that seemed to break the laws of physics. Then came the blocks. One after another, Wembanyama swatted away shots with timing that looked superhuman. His wingspan, measured at 8 feet, allowed him to contest shots from angles that didn't seem possible. Defenders couldn't shoot over him. They couldn't go around him. He was everywhere. Throughout the game, Victor added baskets in every way imaginable. He hit mid-range jumpers with a smooth release, finished inside with touch, and even knocked 3 three-pointers that sent the arena into a frenzy. Each made shot wasn't just about points. It showcased his versatility, his confidence, and his readiness for this moment. By the end of the night, Wembanyama had recorded 15 points, 5 rebounds in 23 minutes. The stat line was impressive, but the eye test was even better. He moved like no 7-footer ever had. He defended like a defensive player of the year. He scored like a natural. The Spurs lost the game 119 to 126, but the final score didn't matter. Victor Wembanyama had just introduced himself to the NBA, and the introduction was unforgettable. Critics who wondered if he could handle the physicality, the speed, the length of NBA players, they had their answer. Not only could he handle it, he looked like he belonged from the very first minute. The first chapter was written, but Wemby was just getting started. Game 2 versus Houston Rockets. 2 days after his debut, Victor Wembanyama faced the Houston Rockets at home. The hype from his first game hadn't faded. If anything, it had intensified. Fans wanted more. Analysts wanted confirmation. Victor simply wanted to play.
Chased down by the Spurs and Vassell ahead to Victor. Into the paint, goes up and scores! He's going to pass that ball out to the corner. There you go. Wembanyama with a stop!
Over the course of the game, Victor continued building his scoring resume. He scored in the post, he stepped out and knocked down jumpers from the elbow. He ran the floor in transition and finished with authority. Every basket looked effortless, every move calculated. What stood out wasn't just the scoring, it was the defense. Wembanyama recorded multiple blocks, altering countless other shots simply with his presence. Opposing players hesitated when he was near the rim. They changed their shots mid-air. The Wemby effect was already a real measurable phenomenon. By the end of the game, Victor had tallied 21 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks, his first double-double. The Spurs won this one, 126-122 in overtime, and Wembanyama was a major reason why. He wasn't just contributing, he was leading. For a 19-year-old in his second NBA game, the poise and production were remarkable. Then came Game 3 on the road in Los Angeles. This was Victor's first true test away from home, facing a hostile crowd, a different environment, and it wasn't an easy one. Wemby and the young players of Spurs struggled to find rhythm in the game against the veteran Clippers players Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and Ivica Zubac. Wembanyama ended the game with 11 points and 5 rebounds. The game ended 123-83, a loss to forget. Game 4, on Halloween night, Wemby faced off against Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns at Footprint Center, Phoenix, Arizona. Wemby has often mentioned Durant as one of his biggest inspirations because of KD's unique combination of height, skill, and guard-like abilities, traits Wembanyama himself is known for. In interviews, Wembanyama said that Durant was a major influence on how he developed his game, particularly in terms of ball handling, shooting, and versatility for a tall player. However, Wembanyama has also said that he doesn't want to copy anyone. He studies players like Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and others, but aims to be something new. Wemby had a slow start in the first half, managing only 1 field goal. By the end of the first half, the score was 45-63 to the Phoenix Suns. But in the second half, his scoring started to come in, scoring in every possible way. 2 early three-pointers, one in the third quarter and one in the beginning of the fourth. The Spurs started to close the scoring gap. Wemby made a layup, bringing it to 91-98.
Hoping he'd wait for him. Approaching the 1-minute mark.
You're going to have to run a body at Durant.
Keldon Johnson all alone. Durant goes right by him in a two-handed jam. KD.
That took Kevin Durant to his 27,000 points, and the fan in the arena went crazy. But that didn't faze Wemby. He blocked out the noise. He didn't care that Kevin Durant, his idol, reached a milestone only a few NBA players had. Wemby only had one goal, to win. The Spurs won in the last second with their only lead of the whole game.
Timeout to advance it.
Oh, Johnson takes it from him. Johnson hangs. Yes! And the Spurs have the lead.
What did I just witness here? They go for the steal.
In the defining moments when others hesitate, Wemby stands tall. No fear, no doubt. He rose, he fired, and he proved he was built for the clutch.
Yeah, it's just a unique player. He's going to be a force in this league for a long time. Once he continue to get experience under his belt, he's just going to get even better.
Really a problem, and I can see that his teammates really look for him, and they make him a problem too. You know, the way they set up the plays, and they try to look for him. So, yeah, it's definitely, I think it's the top hardest players to guard in the league.
20 made shots. On paper, it's a simple number. But for Victor Wembanyama, those first 20 baskets represented something far more significant. The validation of years of hype, the beginning of a historic career, and the introduction of a player unlike any the NBA had ever seen. What made these 20 shots so remarkable wasn't just that they happened quickly, it was how they happened. Victor scored from the post, he scored from mid-range, he scored from three, he scored in transition, he scored over double teams. There wasn't a shot on the court he couldn't make, a defensive scheme he couldn't solve, or a situation that seemed too big for him. For a 19-year-old standing 7 feet 4 inches, this level of versatility was unprecedented. Most players that tall are limited to dunks and layups. Victor was shooting step-back threes like a guard. Most rookies take weeks or months to adjust to NBA's speed and physicality. Victor looked comfortable from minute one, but it wasn't just the offense. Defensively, Wembanyama was already one of the most impactful players in the league. His shot blocking, his ability to switch onto smaller players, his rebounding, every aspect of his game translated immediately. Analysts called him a unicorn, but even that felt insufficient. He was redefining what was possible. The reactions were unanimous. Hall of Famers praised his maturity. Opponents admitted they'd never seen anyone like him. Fans realized they were witnessing history in real time. Victor Wembanyama wasn't just living up to the hype, he was exceeding it. As his rookie season progressed, the production only increased. He averaged 21.4 points, 10.6 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 1.2 steals, and an NBA-leading 3.6 blocks per game. Numbers that would make with him a strong candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, while also being one of the league's most versatile offensive weapons. He became the first rookie in NBA history to record 1,500 points, 700 rebounds, 250 assists, 250 blocks, and 100 three-pointers in a single season. The statistical accomplishments piled up week after week. He won Western Conference Rookie of the Month repeatedly. He earned All-Star consideration. He broke records that had stood for decades. But beyond the stats, Victor changed how teams played basketball. Opponents built entire game plans around him. They avoided the paint when he was near. They hesitated on drives. They thought twice before shooting. The Wemby effect wasn't just real, it was reshaping offensive strategies across the league. By the end of his rookie season, Victor Wembanyama won NBA Rookie of the Year unanimously. Every single voter agreed this wasn't just the best Rookie of the Year. This was one of the best rookie seasons in NBA history, a campaign that announced the arrival of a future MVP, a future champion, and quite possibly the next face of the NBA. Victor Wembanyama's first 20 made shots weren't just baskets, they were the opening statement of a career that promises to redefine basketball. From a kid in France who grew impossibly tall and impossibly skilled, to the #1 pick carrying the weight of a franchise and the hopes of millions, Victor proved that sometimes the hype is justified.